Affairs Forum of WZTV Fox 17. And now your host, Dr. James Haney.
Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Impact Awards of the Tennessee Minority Purchasing Council. And we have with us to talk about the Impact Awards of the Tennessee Minority Purchasing Council this morning, Mr. Carl Jones. Mr. Carl Jones is the principal of Jones & Jones Construction Services, Inc. And of course, with Mr. Jones is Mr. Victor King. Mr. Victor King is the Vice President for Purchasing for the Tennessee Valley Authority. And of course, let me welcome both you, Mr. Jones and Mr. King, to the show this morning.
Happy to be here.
It's our pleasure.
Gentlemen, what we'd like to try to do this morning is to talk about the Impact Awards of the Tennessee Minority Purchasing Council. And of course, those awards will be held, as the two of you will indicate, on the 13th of April. But before we get into that, let's talk about the two of you as businessmen, one connected with the private sector and another connected with the federal government. Let's have the two of you, Mr. Jones, let's have you to start off by giving us some information about your background and your education and some of the things that were important leading you to the principalship of Jones & Jones Construction Inc. And of course, Mr. King will give us the same kind of information after you finish.
Okay, I'm a cotton picker from Mason, Tennessee.
Very good, and that's a good start. I picked cotton in Hope, Arkansas as well.
Okay.
But beyond that...
My grandfather was a farmer. He started our business years ago. But I'm a graduate of Booker T. Washington High School in Memphis. I went from there to Alcorn State University, which is in Norman, Mississippi. I played football and tennis, all conference in. I left there and took a position in Greenville, Mississippi as executive director of the YMCA. At that time, the YMCAs were segregated. And from that point, we started our first business venture back in 1964. We started a convenience store. We call it Jones Market. And from there, we started investing in real estate. And then several years later, we bought a supermarket in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And from that point, I moved from there to Chicago. I spent some time there working with two leading corporations. One was Union Carbide Corporation. The other one was Merck Sharp & Dohme, which is a pharmaceutical company. And then from there, I got some training in McDonald's through some friends of mine, and I pursued the McDonald's franchise route. And I bought the first franchise back in '76 in Norfolk, Virginia. Then we expanded from that, and then eventually my brother and I ended up with 5. Then I wanted to be closer to my family, so must be 83. We couldn't get my family to move. When I say my family, I have reference specifically to my mom and my dad. Could not get them to move to Virginia, so I chose to come here to Nashville. And that's been about 11 years ago. And at that point, we, back in '83, we started Jones & Jones Construction Company at the time. Now it's Jones & Jones Construction Services, Inc. I'm a principal in that company, as well as my brother. And then we are involved in also some food operations. Yeah.
Very good. And of course, Mr. King, let's from a government perspective, let's look at your situation in terms of the vice president for the Tennessee